Athletic Bilbao nil, Arsenal 2, sorry. Wow, I thought that game, until the substitutions, that game had 0-0 written all over it. I was fully going into this expecting a 0-0. I was sitting here like, it doesn't really look like we're going to find the back end there. We're not going to find that little attack that's going to push us. Wow. And the funniest thing is, the two people who got the assists and got the goals are the two people who I've given the most shit to. Think about that for a second. Both Martinelli and Trossard. I have said that those two are not good enough. And look, I'm gonna stick by that in a way, but I'm also gonna sit down and say, look, they did well today. They had an absolutely brilliant. They are the star performers, and I'm still debating whether or not I want to give the man of the match to Martinelli or give it to Trossard. They both played absolutely brilliant the moment they came on. I think I'm more likely going to give it to Trossard just because his assist was just a bit more out of this world. But still, wow. The two people who I have given the most criticism to, they've silenced me today. I owe them an apology. Genuinely. But look, I do have to talk about Athletic Bilbao at the same time. Athletic Bilbao, I'm seeing a few of the match things right again. Here's the assist for Martinelli. Martinelli with that beautiful run as well. The moment he went off, no one was catching him. It's a brilliant teamwork goal, but Trossard to just flick it above everyone and get it in the path of Martinelli. And Martinelli just slots it right into the back of the net. He needed that. He really did need that, though. And hopefully we can get a bit more like that. I still don't think he's going to start over Eze, though. But regardless, looking at how both teams were playing, Bilbao were very reliant on a very high press, and when they won the ball in the middle of the field, they were very aggressive going forward. They relied heavily on getting the ball in the middle of the field and catching us off guard, and they did that quite a few times to their credit. As a very high possession squad, we've got a very high possession tactic, and that one could argue that kind of plays into the hands of a team that wants to press high and win the ball in dangerous areas. But look, Bilbao, they deserve a lot of credit for today. They really, really did play well. Even without Nico Williams, I thought Athletic Bilbao were just on another level. I genuinely think any other day of the week, we might have lost that game. But that's just a credit to how good Bilbao actually were. When they caught us on the counter, they looked so dangerous going forward. So in the end of the day, the real thing that made the difference was our defence. And our defence, Ricardo Calafiori, Gabriel, Mosquera, Timber, we looked so solid. Individual mistakes here and there, I did notice that. We weren't exactly at our best, I don't think. We were making a lot of mistakes. In fact, some might even argue a lot of these players were very average today. But we saw the game through, and that's all that matters. I was going into this saying, you know what, a draw wouldn't be horrible. Going away to Atletico Bilbao would not be an easy result. And it isn't, really. So a draw wouldn't have been heartbreak for me, but going into the Champions League season with a win on our back, no less with a win of this caliber, beating Atletico Bilbao, not an easy job. Of course, I have my criticisms of a fair few players, but I'll get onto that later on. But let's get into it now. Player ratings. I'm going to start off with David Raya in goal. Now, David Raya, occasionally, I did get quite frustrated with him. I'm going to turn this off now because it's annoying me. He occasionally did kick the ball completely out of the park. I don't know what he was doing there. It only happened like once or twice. most of the time he kind of just spent it collecting the ball, and it was mostly comfortable for him. I don't think he had too much to really do other than collect the ball and distribute it. But I can't fault him for doing his job. I think David Raya deserves. I give him a 7. Now look at Christian Mosquera. I'm surprised he's only what 13 mil? Was it 13 mil or 16 mil? One or two. But he looks so calm under pressure. He looks so calm on it. I don't think he actually lost the ball that much. Let me look at that now. Now listen, he has 74 accurate passes. He's won 1 tackle, 1 foul. He didn't do as good. I don't think he did as good as Gabriel. I think Gabriel was on another level today. But Christian Mosquera, he did his job. Calm as you like. Didn't look like he had any problems. I'll give him a 7.5. Now, Gabriel, 90 minutes played, 2 tackles won, 1 foul won, 47 accurate passes. Less overall accurate passes than compared to Mosquera, but it did seem like Mosquera had a very go-forward kind of approach to it. Gabriel was a bit more defensive, but he was so solid in that defense. I don't think anyone got past him. I'm going to give Gabriel, I'll give him an 8. I thought he was absolutely splendid. I can't speak today, that's how good he was. Urian Timber. Now, Urian Timber, 3 tackles won, 1 foul, 43 accurate passes. And I'll say, with Timber, I did notice the one time that he kind of overcommitted and ran up roughly to the halfway line, lost the ball and put us in a bit of trouble. It didn't end up badly, obviously, but it could have. And I think, again, that really played into Bilbao's hand. Other than that, however, he didn't look very bad. I think he lost the ball a few times, but other than that, he didn't look horrible. I'm going to give him 7.5. Now, Ricardo Calafiori, he had that position on absolute lockdown. I'm not even sure if anything got past him. But he looks absolutely composed on the ball. When we was going forward, he was there, overlaying on the left wing. But his main position was obviously the left back position, winning 3 tackles and 24 passes. I think that more so goes to show that he was being better off defensively than going forward. And I'm going to rate him based on being defensive, and I'm going to say that Calafiori deserves a 7.5. Moving on to Declan Rice, he got the yellow card early. It looked like he was getting a bit frustrated in that first half. I think he was kind of struggling to kind of keep it in. Eventually, though, he did kind of just keep his cool. I personally would have subbed him off a little bit sooner and brought on Ethan Wanyeri. Overall, however, I don't have too much to complain about. I'll give him a 7. Zubimendi. Now, Zubimendi got that stupid yellow card right in the last few minutes when we're already 2-0 ahead. Was it 1-0 or 2-0? I can't remember. But we were already ahead at that point. We didn't need to play stupidly like that. We just needed to see the game out and avoid getting any injuries or getting any suspensions. Getting a yellow card like that was just so unnecessary. But in general, Zubimendi did have some really good passing today. He could have even won an assist or 2. But look, he didn't get any shots, he didn't get any goals or assists, but his control in that midfield was absolutely amazing. I'm going to give him an 8, and that's considering the yellow card that he got. Now, Mikel Mourinho, he had a shot. He played the whole minute. He did have some good moments, but he didn't stand out for me nearly as much as Zubimendi did. I'm going to give him a 7. Not bad, but nothing stood out. Eberechi Eze, I thought he struggled today, if I'm honest. I thought with Eberechi Eze, he obviously got substituted off for Martinelli, and that's when I made my infamous phrase, "Oh well, we're not winning any battles in the left wing anymore." And then, I can't believe that. But regardless, Eberechi Eze, I do think struggled a little bit more in comparison to Noni Madueke. I didn't think he was terrible. He even had a good few moments himself. But very meh day in the office. I'm going to give him a 7. I personally don't think he did that well. If I can click off of this. Now, Noni Madueke, 3 total shots, 89 minutes played. Could have even seen the whole game out. He got a yellow card for time wasting, though, which is something we really didn't need to do. I'll be absolutely honest with that. It's a silly yellow card to get. He didn't need to get the yellow card. He could have played the whole 90 minutes, plus added time, if he just didn't get that yellow card. But look, it was one of those really weird situations where Noni Madueke was causing absolute nightmares for that defence, and yet at the same time the defence reacted accordingly and didn't let him pass. It's a very weird one for me, but I think it's not really the fault of Madueke. I think Madueke, I'm going to give him... If I had to give anyone anything, I'll give it to Madueke. I'm going to give him an 8.5. Victor Gyökeres. Now, Victor Gyökeres, I thought he also struggled, if I'm honest. He had a fair few opportunities, but none of those attempts were really convincing to me. He had a few half chances, which he couldn't really bury, but he also had a lot of moments as well where you're sitting there thinking you've got to put it in. Just put it in the back of the net. Especially that header that he did. That, to me, you've got at bare minimum put that on target. Victor Gyökeres, I'm giving a 7. I didn't think he played horrible. If anything, I thought he had a good few moments in the build-up, but other than that, wasn't really his best day in the office in terms of being that target guy. Honourable mention, however, will be Martinelli and Trossard, and I'm personally giving the man of the match to Trossard. It's very rare that I give man of the match to a substitution, but I thought he just played that well. Could have also given it to Martinelli, but instinct says Trossard. The fans. I didn't really hear much of the fans, if I'm honest. I don't know if it's because it was a small section, but the fans seemed quite happy, obviously, when it went in. I'll be nice and I'll give them an 8. Mikel Arteta. I feel like he made some substitutions a bit late. But the substitutions that he did make, clearly it worked out. I have to give him a credit for it. I would have given Max Dowman a bit of time, though. Well, regardless, I can't fault him too much. I'm going to give him a 9. The referee, ups and downs. Sometimes I thought he favoured us a little bit, oddly enough, and I want to be as unbiased as humanly possible. I'll give him a 7 just because it wasn't very many situations, but he did kind of, again, have those few moments. But anyways, that's my match review. Let me know what you think down below. Like, share, and comment, and please do subscribe. It really does help out the channel. And I will be seeing you for the match preview against Man City. Also, I want to quickly add that I apologise for not doing a preview for this game. There was some personal stuff going on in my life. I wasn't able to do it in time. But I should be able to do Arsenal versus Man City. Goodbye for now.